Hello, my furry friends. My name is Fuzzycub, and welcome back to the next episode of Olympuscraft. So once again, I have been a busy bear. I think that should be my catchphrase going forward. I have been a busy bear. Between episodes, I have continued on with the pathing around the island. I think we have like 70% of it done at the moment. We've all the way over to here, so we just have this bit here to do. We have the pathing to go over here, but we don't really have any buildings planned yet. And maybe another path around here. We also started building the barn around our sheep farm, which has been doing quite well. You can't see the amounts there, but I have a few hundred of each of the wool. We have all of our crops planted, thankfully. That's every single Croptopia seed that I need so far. The problem at the moment is this stuff that I'm standing on right now. You see, it takes an awful lot of wheat to make the packed mud. Now, I can go fly down to the south to get the mud from the mangrove swamp. I hope no one minds, I've completely cleared it out. Yeah, it's just the wheat that's the problem. That's why I started to build the barn. It just takes so long for this wheat to grow. And yes, I know I can do a ton of botany pots. But where's the fun in that? So yes, as I said, I did start building the barn around the sheep farm, and then I got annoyed because I kept falling off the roof when I was building it. And then I said, you know what, I'm just going to go to the end and I'm going to fly around for an hour or so and see if I can get one of those flight rings. I didn't find a single flight ring. I flew for hours and hours and hours and didn't find a single flight ring. Now I know you can make an angel ring, and some of the people on the server did, but that takes 2 blocks of netherite and 3 ingots. And a nether star. That's 84 ancient debris, and I just don't want to do that. So I thought to myself, why don't I use my most favorite mod, Botania, to get a little bit of creative flight going. You see, Botania has this thing called the Flugel Tiara. This thing here. Now, it's quite expensive to make. These things, they're easy enough. This, the Gaia Spirit. That involves a boss battle. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to it in today's episode, but let's just make this entire episode about Botania. But before we start that, it's time for today's food of the episode. And today we're going to be making tamales. So we need flour, which I have, salt, which I have, a pot, which I have, chilies, I'm sure I have, chicken I know I have a ton of, thanks to Der Greets, or Rob, I'm still not sure who did that. Onions we have, and corn husks are just corn. So I think let's make a stack of tamales. We just need our pot and a boop. 56 is enough. Eventually we will make our restaurant, but just not today. And these give us 20. Wow, 20 saturation. We're definitely only going to need 56 this episode. Let's have a little bite to eat. Oof, spicy. And let's start off with our Botania setup. So right down here, I have started, very basically started. So here I have a little infinite water source because we're going to need it to fill up this petal apothecary. So a petal apothecary is easy enough to make. It's just used with a petal or a mushroom from the Botania mod and a bit of cobblestone. And this is kind of like the very basic crafting table for flowers. So what you need to do is you need to put some water in there, fill it up, and then we need to make something called the Pure Daisy. And the Pure Daisy is made with 4 white shimmering mushrooms or 4 petals, which you can make with the white flowers from Botania that you can find all around the world. And what we need to do is we need to throw 4 of these into the water. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see the recipe has come there, and it tells you to throw in 1 seed. And that creates a Pure Daisy. Also, if you're making many of them, what you do then is fill this up, and with an empty hand, you can right-click, and it will put in the recipe that you used previously, as long as you have the stuff in your inventory. Then once again, just throw in a flower, or throw in a seed even, and there we go. We have 2 more Pure Daisies. So a Pure Daisy basically turns wood and stone into the Botania variants of them. So you put the Pure Daisy down on some grass, you grab some stone and some logs, and around the Pure Daisy you place the logs and the stone. And you see these little white sparkly particles coming out of it? Eventually that will convert into living wood and a living rock. the 2 basic building blocks of everything we'll need for Botania. There we go. And then they should start. Nice. And like I said earlier, I have done this ahead of time so that we don't have to wait around staring at the stone and the wood converting. So the next thing we'll need is a Wand of the Forest. Now, Wand of the Forest is basically like the wrench of the Botania mod. I know the Botania mod looks sort of like a magic-y flower-based mod, but it really is a tech mod. So kind of think of it in your head as tech and think of the mana produced as power, kind of. So to make this Wand of the Forest, we need to grab some living wood logs and we need to craft those into living wood sticks, 3 of them. And then we need to find some Botania flowers. Now, this is sort of where you can get a little bit creative. So because my channel colors are black and red, I think I'm going to use 1 black petal and 1 red petal. As you can see, like here, you can change the color of the Wand of the Forest depending on which petal you use. So I'm going to make my Wand of the Forest red and black. Again, my channel colors. And with this wand, we can now get into the more interesting stuff. So first, let's make 3 specific things. We need to make a mana pool, a mana spreader, and something called the Endo Flame. There's just a bookmark of that. So to make a mana pool, it is just 5 of these, like so. 1 mana pool. Think of this like the storage for the power of Botania. Then we need a basic mana spreader. You can upgrade them to Elven mana spreaders and Gaia mana spreaders, but that's way in the future. No, we just have the basics now. Let's grab some living wood. Actually, let's just throw all of this into our system. It'll be easier to craft stuff with. So let's grab a mana spreader, which is easy, like so. And the mana spreader is the thing that takes the mana that is produced by the Ender Flame. Don't worry, we'll get to that. Just calm down. And puts it into this mana pool. So let's pop this guy down here. At the moment you can see, when you hold the Wand of the Forest, you can see where the mana spreader is going to shoot the mana. If you shift and right click with this, you can change it from function mode to bind mode. We need to shift click on this guy. You see it gets highlighted. And then we want to shift click on this guy to make sure that this mana spreader is shooting into this. You can also see here on the mana pool, I can shift and right click to take out of the mana pool into a mana tablet. Again, we'll get to it, calm down. And we can have it going into the mana pool. So back to the Endo Flame. So the Endo Flame is one of the producing flowers of Botania. If you get your Lexica Botania, which you can find around the world in dungeons, or you can create it using a book and a sapling, I believe. You can see here, it's basically like a guidebook for the start of Botania. And here we see generating flora. So the basic ones that we can use are Endoflames and Hydrangeas. I don't like using hydrangeas because they actually break after 3 days, whereas Endoflames, they continue to work as long as you provide them with something to burn. So I suppose let's start by making a couple of these Endoflames. We need a light gray petal, 2 brown petals, and a red petal. Let's grab 3 of these, brown, and light gray. So we don't have many of these, but thankfully you can turn these guys into petals, like so. You can plant these guys in the ground, like so. And with a little bit of bone meal, you can grow tall, gray flowers. Break these. You used to not be able to break them by hand, but thankfully now you can. You used to have to break them with the shears. And these basically quadruple what you put down. The other way you can do this is by making something called floral fertilizer. And that is made with 1 bone meal and any 4 different types of dye. Floral fertilizer, basically, when you grow bone meal some grass, will grow random flowers. There we go, see, there's some brown, some orange, some gray, and a little bit of mystical green. So if you can't find the flowers that you need, you can just make a ton of the floral fertilizer, and eventually you will get the color that you need. So once again, let us fill up our petal apothecary. Let's throw in 1 red petal, 2 brown, and 1 light gray. And we see the recipe for Endoflame pop up there. And then we just pop in 1 seed, There we go. Ender flame. I'm gonna do this a few more times because you need quite a lot of ender flames to get this going.
A few minutes later.
Okay, now that we have 8 ender flames, let's just plant them right around here. Now, if we have the wanted forest in our hands and we look at the ender flame, you can see they have all linked to the mana spreader. Now, if you place a flower down after the mana spreader, they will automatically link, and I think 16 at a time can link. I'm not quite sure, don't quote me on that one. But if you can see that the ender flame doesn't link properly, you can also just shift and bind it like that. Okay, so let us explain the ender flame. So think of the ender flame like a furnace. If you provided something to burn, such as coal or wood or sticks, bamboo, saplings, anything that can burn, it will convert that into mana. And it all depends on what you give it, how much mana it produces. So a block of coal will give it a lot of mana, whereas a piece of bamboo will give it a tiny amount of mana. So I'm going to just throw I'm going to turn my magnet off first. I'm going to throw 8 charcoal down, and these should all get picked up by the ender flames. Ender flames are making the mana gets put into the mana spreader. You can see it filling up bit by bit because it's quite slow in its base level. The mana gets shot over here and then gets put into the mana pool. And that is the basics of Botania. It gets a lot more complicated the more you get into it, but for now, I think we're just going to have to make a ton of ender flames, a ton of mana pools, a lot of mana spreaders, and get a ton, and I mean a ton, of mana. Because we're going to be crafting quite a lot of stuff in today's episode. So I just logged back in and I was about to show you guys the result of my Botania escapades when I logged into this. And I got a fright and threw my magnet into the fire. Oh, who did this? I mean, I appreciate keeping me warm at night, but like, who did this? Ooh, I do like those though. Soul shroom spores. Interesting. Okay, let's just pop outside and have a look. Oh, there's more outside. What is that? Hoglin Mount. Frost magma? I have no idea who did this, but thank you. Okay, we'll deal with that later. First of all, let's pop over with our last remaining rocket to our Botania area. So I have been for the last maybe 12 hours or so filling up these 4 mana pools. So it looks a little bit different than the setup we have over there. First of all, I made 4 of them. I have the mana spreaders pointing into this guy, which is a mana splitter. So basically all the mana goes into this guy and gets equally split between all of these 4 pools. Now we need to do something called rune making. And for that we need a runic altar. So let's take a look at the runic altar, which is this guy here. We need either a mana diamond or a mana pearl with a little bit of living rock around it. So to make a mana diamond or a mana pearl, you literally just have to throw a diamond or a pearl in there. So okay. I did a little bit of testing and I've already made one of the runes I need for the next little thing we're going to be doing. But the only reason I did it was because I wanted to test if I put the runic altar here and I put the mana spreader here and linked it to this. I wanted to know if I could get both of these pools to give mana to that table. Because unfortunately, these things don't just automatically give mana to this thing. So we have to make this thing here, the terrestrial agglomeration plate. Now it is easy enough, it's not too difficult, it's just very time consuming and you need quite a lot of mana. So we need to make a rune of water, a rune of earth, a rune of mana, a rune of air, and a rune of fire. So basically what you do is you put on the runic altar these things here, then the runic altar fills up with mana, it does like a little green bar. You know what? It's probably just easier to show you guys. So the easiest one we can do is 5 mana steel. Then we need... Hello? Do I hear voices in my head?
Perhaps.
They're talking back to me. This isn't normal.
Are you busy?
Oh, there you are. I didn't see you. I'm just doing some
currently
witchcraft.
rubber banding, and I'm just at your feet right now. Yeah, this like I'm in flight mode right now.
Oh,
In the floor.
you're slightly
Oh, there we go.
moonwalking, actually. Yeah, you're just like,
Oh, oh. I stood up. Oh, I'm taking damage.
you're just gonna
Your feet
die.
are hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, I have an offer.
Okay. Is it free things? I like free things. Are you giving me free things?
It's technically free things.
Do I get to kill Rob?
Actually, that would be your choice.
Now I'm
So-
intrigued.
As you know, I am building a bank.
Yes, the better bank.
Yes, the better bank. The best bank, honestly. But I also had an idea. Since it's going to be so tall, I don't need all the rooms that I'm going to make.
Okay.
So, I was going to offer to the members of the server to build a small shop of something, but you have to sell using that bank's currency.
Oh, interesting. Actually, that does coincide with, spoilers people, my upcoming episode where I'm going to be building a copper farm underneath my base. So I need somewhere to sell copper.
Okay. Well, if you want, you can come with me and you can take a pic of the rooms. There's like 4 or 5 rooms that are available right now that I've built.
Ooh, let me just put my hog down.
You're okay.
Anybody know that reference? Let me know in the comments. I'm in a room. He
Okay.
survived the flight, so that's good.
I kept drowning in water because my connection is so bad. I mean, look at me in tab.
Oh,
I
look at
have
your
literally
ping.
1 bar.
Wow.
So, this is the bank. It is not as big as it's going to be. It's going to be like 32 more blocks tall.
Okay, wow, okay.
So this is just the first 3 floors, I think.
Nice. I like the modern cubist design.
This one's a nice big room. It will have lights. I am working on that.
Will it have a
It
ceiling?
will have a ceiling, partially, for
Okay.
as long as it takes me to build, which we don't know.
Okay.
Then, with this room though, you get one thing extra. You will be able to make an entrance to the patio.
Ooh. Patio
And you can
view.
have the patio. So you could make a mini restaurant here and have a patio outdoor seating.
Oh, I could have a Fuzzy's restaurant, like just a little cafe area with like
This
vending
could
machines.
be a cafe. I kind
You
of.
know what? You know what?
I kind of
I'll
thought
take it.
about this.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Oh, ooh. Oh, this actually worked.
Assuming you're going to build, you know, the ceiling part.
Eventually.
Well, yeah. It already has a
Eventually.
lodger though.
I don't know what that is, but yeah, sure, this little nook. Yeah, he was a resident.
Was.
Yeah,
I think I can make this into a really nice copper shop / the copper top bar.
glad you like it. You know, rent will be due.
Yeah.
Next
See,
month.
excuse me. Come back here. You didn't say
What?
anything about
What?
rent.
Ooh, fine print.
For a full version of that clip between myself and Andy, don't forget to check out his channel where the full clip will be shown in his next episode. Oh, God, that's the thing I love about this server. You could be doing something and then suddenly interruptions and shenanigans. So, right, where were we? We were in the middle of making the Rune of Mana. So I needed a couple of mana pearls, which are just ender pearls popped into the mana pool, and one of these on here, and you'll hear that noise and you'll see some particles flying out, and then just to the right of the circle of mana steel you see a rune and a green timer type thing, and I think it takes about 30 seconds or so at this slow level because the mana doesn't pump very fast out of those mana spreaders, but when it is done, you'll see the green circle stops. You then throw on one piece of living rock and you smack it with your wand of the forest. I was about to call that the rod of the forest. And that is how you make runes. And I have already made all the runes that I need to make the terrestrial agglomeration plate. So let's quickly make up a block of mana steel. we should have all the lapis we need in the system, and we have all the runes. There we go. Terrestrial agglomeration plate. Now this is actually a multi-block. So let me see where I'm gonna put this guy. I'll put it here for now. Eventually we're gonna be putting a building around this. Some sort of a magical amethysty enchanty type tower thing. So we can move stuff, but at the moment I'll just leave it here. So the multi-block for the terrestrial agglomeration plate is like so. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks of lapis and 4 blocks of living rock. Or is it the other way around? I can't quite remember. No, other way around. Really should check these things before recording and getting it wrong. But at least I get it wrong, so you don't have to. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on top of this one, the terrestrial agglomeration plate. And that is the multi-block to make Terra Steel, the stuff we've been working towards all day today and yesterday. So up here in this here, you might notice I have Terra Steel armor and a Terra Steel weapon pinned. I need to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pieces of Terra Steel, as well as some more Terra Steel to do some more complex things in Botania. But first of all, let me just show you exactly what this terrestrial agglomeration plate can do. So if we want to make a Terra Steel ingot, we need 1 mana steel, 1 mana diamond, 1 mana pearl, thrown onto the agglomeration plate, and I think this is equivalent to about half of an entire mana pool worth of mana. And that gets sucked out of the mana pools and put in here, and magic spirally bluey green stuff happens, and you get 1 single piece of Terra Steel, which is why we need so much mana. But I think at the moment we probably can make a spark. Indeed, we can. So I'm going to make up a few of these. I think 5 is enough. And a spark is... how do I describe a spark? A spark is kind of like wireless mana. I know it is wireless, but this one is like wireless mana requesting. If I remember correctly, I believe I can just place sparks on top of each one of these pools, like so, and 1 spark on top of this. In the future, we can make things called augments, spark augments, and these basically tell particular sparks that a pool is dominant or recessive. So if I had recessive spark augments on those, and I had a mana pool over here with a dominant augment on it, all the mana will try and go to the dominant pool first. But I think it works the same way now, where the spark will communicate with the other sparks and try and give itself mana. There's only one way to find out, I suppose. First of all, let's grab some diamonds, convert these guys up. Nice. Should have some mana pearls left, and we have some mana steel in our inventory. So if we put 1 of those, 1 of those, and 1 of those, there we go. You see, the sparks are telling this thing here, take all of the mana you need to create this single piece of Terra Steel. Ah, nice. Now I just have to do that so many more times. Now looks like that used just about a half of a mana pool altogether, which means we can do this about 8 times. Let's just try and get as much as possible. Do we have enough left for 1 more? Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, we are stuck. Okay, that's not a problem. As long as we don't pick these up, we can just take some of the charcoal that I've been making off camera, and we can throw it to the ender flames, and that should keep on producing mana, and which should be taken for the process. Like I said, this does take quite a long time, but it's going to be worth it in the end when we have our entire Terra Steel armor set, our Terra Blade, and Creative Flight with our Flugel Tiara. But unfortunately, this is going to have to be the end of the episode because I'm going to have to spend a lot of time off camera doing this, and I really don't think you guys want to see that. So if you liked today's episode, please give me a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I do love your guys' comments because, again, they do help me make more content just like this. Why don't you click on the members button while you're down in the description and join the Fuzzy family, just like these wonderful people who get to use custom emotes during live streams and get a mention at the end of every single video. And until next time, bye bye.